Hey, what's up guys? This is Prapreet, and in this whole December series I've been going over products that I basically use on every single shoot that I go out and shoot with. So today I wanted to make this video about the Rokinon 14mm 2.8. Now this is a lens that goes a little farther than your typical kit lens or a regular zoom lens would. So this goes way too wide. So I'm just going to be going over the things that I like about this lens versus the things that I don't like about this lens. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that it is sitting at 14mm. Now I know there are other lenses that go like 12mm or 10mm, or you can even go to like fisheye 8mm, 6mm. That's just crazy wide. So basically you would get a shot where you can see basically, you know, your whole peripheral like you are within your own eyesight. But remember that when we go super wide, there are some drawbacks. So one of those drawbacks is distortion. Distortion is basically, you know, I was explaining to another friend of mine that, you know, think of like a fence, that a rounded fence. And what they basically do is they have to basically compress those things into a single straight fence. So instead of having a curved fence, now you're fitting all of that area into a single fence. And that's kind of what a wide lens is doing. It's basically fitting all this much information. So let's say, you know, more space in your shot. Basically it's using all that information, it's compressing it down into a certain way where you can see the whole thing. So the way these cameras work is that the rightmost, leftmost, top and the bottom will be really stretched out. So you can see that, you know, they're not trying to minimize those, but they're trying to minimize the inside pixels. So basically what happens is everything inside in the center will be kind of more natural into their actual form, but everything on the sides of this frame will be distorted. They'll be too long. Their faces just might be like super long. So instead of having this long face, their face will be like this big because they're on this edge, and it just looks really not normal. Also, if you're trying to take portraits and you go super close to your subject with your 14mm or something, you're basically going to get a shot where, you know, everything just looks not normal. So if you go too close to a nose, the nose will be huge, the face will be tiny. So the hardware of this lens is actually pretty nice. There are a couple things that I don't like. So first of all, it's pretty lightweight. It's not that heavy at all. Second thing that I don't like about this is that there's a hood included. Now that can be a thing that I also like about the lens, but there's a lens included, and also the lens is basically curved lens. So the lens glass in the front is not straight. So you can't really put a regular ND filter on top of this. So basically, you know, like portraits over the top. So it basically goes all the way around. And as you can see here, it's not straight. And then this hood actually never comes off unless you like properly break it or screw it off. But the hood stays there. So if you wanted to put a filter on top of this, you'd probably have to go with one of those landscape huge ND filters for this. Otherwise, not that great with ND filters. But so that's one bad side, that you can actually use your nifty ND filters on this. However, this is a 14mm, so you know, most likely this will be used in indoors, or you can use this for nature or vlogging, etc. But I don't suggest this for vlogging. It's just a little too wide. 14mm, everything kind of becomes super distorted, and if you're on the edge, it's just not going to make you look good. You're going to look like a cartoon basically. So I don't really prefer this lens for anyone who's vlogging or taking portraits. This is great for landscapes. This is great for gimbals. This is great for, you know, those kind of shots. I've used this a lot when it comes to like weddings. So especially the entrances, etc. in halls, it kind of makes your whole architectural inside look much larger. So when you're shooting with this on a gimbal, for example, you're taking a follow shot of the bride coming in. You're basically going to get this shot where there is movement on smaller steps. So that's another good thing about this lens is, you know, you'll be able to see movement as soon as you move this lens around. And another good thing about this lens being at 14mm is that it doesn't have that much shake. So even the minor shakes or anything like that, even if you want to shoot handheld with this, basically you can do so because it's at 14mm. It's super wide. It's going to be always stable unless, you know, you're not shaking the lens way too hard. But other than that, you're going to get very, very smooth shots with this, and focus on this is good. It's pretty nice. Again, 14mm, you're depth of field is very, very long or short or whatever you want to call it. So basically focusing on this thing is easy. Even if you shoot 2.8 and your subject is out of focus, they probably can't even tell. It's that wide and your depth of field is just so long that basically everything kind of stays in focus, and that's one of the things that I like about this lens. And yeah, so I would use this for real estate. I would use this for weddings where inside, getting like a bigger picture of the whole thing. So using a wider lens, you're basically going to get an image where it's kind of like making everything bigger inside. So that's one of the really nice reasons why you would go for a wide lens. And then also putting this on a gimbal, getting some video shots, that'll be really cool. What not to use this lens for? Definitely portraits, close-up shots. Don't do that. Don't be that person. There's crazy amounts of distortion on here. Vlogging, if you can get away with it, if you can keep yourself centered, I say you can obviously use this. But other than that, if you're going to be walking around in your shot, you're basically going to go from super wide into super thin. The distortion doesn't work on this. So portraits, I say stay away from those. But other than that, I really like this lens. I've had it for a while. The best part about it is probably the price. I think I got it on $400 to $500 3 years back, so it might be even cheaper now. It's a Rokinon lens. It goes on your Sony E-mounts. You can probably find this for your Canon, Nikon, or Panasonic, etc. So those things might work out for you. But this one that I have right here is a Sony E-mount. It's been working for me great. I use it here and there, but it's kind of been pushed aside by my Sony 20mm 1.8 by G. So that's it for today's video. If you guys have any comments or concerns about this lens, please comment them and let me know. If you guys have any questions, make sure to ask those as well. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.